The YJ-20 hypersonic missile has quickly become one of the most talked about weapons in modern military circles. And for good reason. It represents a leap forward in China's ability to threaten large naval vessels, particularly aircraft carriers, while signaling just how advanced Beijing's missile technology has become. This missile is often referred to as the carrier killer, and that nickname alone speaks volumes about its intended purpose and the strategic fear it inspires. In today's review, we'll take a detailed look at the YJ-20, exploring its background, design, performance, and the potential cost associated with deploying such a system. The story of the YJ-20 begins with China's long-term focus on asymmetric warfare against major naval powers. For decades, the United States Navy has enjoyed dominance at sea, especially through its fleet of aircraft carriers. These carriers project power globally, acting as mobile air bases capable of striking virtually anywhere on the planet. But the emergence of long-range precision missiles has started to challenge the role of the carrier. The YJ-20 is China's answer to this problem. It is designed to neutralize these massive floating fortresses by traveling at extreme speeds, maneuvering during flight, and striking with pinpoint accuracy. From a design perspective, the YJ-20 is striking. At first glance, it resembles other large hypersonic missiles with a long, streamlined fuselage, sharply pointed nose cone, and stabilizing fins toward the rear. But what sets it apart is its reported ability to travel at hypersonic speeds, well above Mach 5, and in some estimates, as fast as Mach 10. At such velocity, the missile doesn't just rely on raw kinetic energy, but also on the ability to overwhelm naval defense systems. Interceptors and anti-missile shields have only seconds to respond, and the YJ-20's maneuverability makes it even harder to track and destroy. Hypersonic technology is notoriously difficult to perfect. At speeds greater than 5 times the speed of sound, the missile's body must withstand extreme temperatures and stress. Materials, guidance systems, and propulsion methods all need to be carefully engineered to survive the immense forces at play. Reports indicate that the YJ-20 uses advanced heat-resistant composites and a scramjet-based propulsion system to sustain its incredible velocity. Scramjets, or supersonic combustion ramjets, work by compressing incoming air at high speeds and mixing it with fuel, allowing continuous thrust at hypersonic levels. This is cutting-edge engineering, and very few nations have demonstrated reliable scramjet technology in operational weapons. Performance is what makes the YJ-20 especially dangerous. In addition to traveling at hypersonic speeds, it is believed to have a range exceeding 2,000 kilometers. That means it can be launched from deep within Chinese territory or coastal waters and still reach carrier strike groups operating far away. The missile is thought to carry either a high-explosive conventional warhead or a nuclear payload, making it flexible in terms of mission capability. A single conventional strike could disable or sink a carrier by hitting its deck or propulsion systems, while a nuclear strike would eliminate an entire battle group. Guidance and accuracy are also key features. China has heavily invested in satellite navigation systems and over-the-horizon radar. The YJ-20 reportedly integrates inertial guidance, satellite correction, and terminal active radar homing. In simple terms, it means the missile can be launched at long range, receive mid-course updates from Chinese tracking systems, and then actively seek out its target as it closes in. In the terminal phase of flight, the YJ-20 is believed to perform evasive maneuvers, diving steeply or zigzagging at hypersonic speed to confuse interception systems like the U.S. Navy's SM-3 or SM-6 missiles. When analyzing a missile like this, it's important to look at its cost and affordability. Precise pricing for the YJ-20 is not public, as with most advanced military systems. However, defense analysts estimate that each unit could cost between 10 and 15 million US dollars. This is based on comparisons with other hypersonic missile programs, material requirements, and guidance technology. To put that into perspective, the cost of a single YJ-20 is tiny compared to the cost of an American aircraft carrier, which runs over $12 billion, or the cost of the carrier's air wing and escort fleet. This massive imbalance in cost is exactly why hypersonic weapons are seen as such a game-changer. A relatively inexpensive missile can threaten assets worth thousands of times more. From a strategic standpoint, the YJ-20 fits perfectly into China's broader anti-access and area denial strategy, often referred to as a 2AD. The idea is simple. Make it too dangerous for adversaries, particularly the U.S. Navy, to operate near China's coastline. With weapons like the YJ-20, China can deter carriers from sailing into the South China Sea or close to Taiwan. The missile is not only a tactical weapon but also a psychological one, forcing rival commanders to think twice before entering contested waters. The YJ-20 is also symbolic of the broader arms race in hypersonic technology. The United States, Russia, and India are all pursuing similar weapons. Russia's Avangard and Kinzhal missiles are already operational. While the United States has multiple hypersonic projects in development, China's ability to field the YJ-20 at this stage demonstrates both technological maturity and a willingness to showcase its military advancements publicly. At China's recent Victory Day parade, the missile was paraded alongside other futuristic systems, signaling to the world that Beijing is confident in its capabilities. Critics, however, note that many details about the YJ-20 remain classified or uncertain. Independent verification of its maximum speed, range, and accuracy has not been possible. Some analysts believe that China may be exaggerating its performance figures for deterrence purposes. Hypersonic missiles are notoriously difficult to test and even harder to integrate into operational units. Yet, even if performance falls short of the most ambitious claims, the YJ-20 is still a formidable threat. Even at the lower end of its estimated capabilities, it could overwhelm existing naval defenses. Another angle worth considering is the industrial and economic cost of producing hypersonic missiles at scale. Manufacturing advanced heat-resistant materials, scramjet engines, and sophisticated guidance systems is neither cheap nor simple. If China can mass-produce the YJ-20, it will demonstrate not only technological achievement but also industrial might. Estimates suggest that China could potentially field dozens, if not hundreds, of YJ-20s over the next decade, making the threat far more significant than just a handful of prototypes. Let's also examine the implications for regional security. Nations around the South China Sea, such as Japan, South Korea, and Australia, must now consider the possibility of YJ-20 deployments in any conflict scenario. Their naval forces, especially large ships, would be at risk if operating within thousands of kilometers of Chinese territory. This pushes regional militaries to invest in missile defense systems, stealth technology, and new tactics to counter hypersonic threats. The YJ-20 doesn't just impact China's adversaries, it reshapes the entire balance of naval strategy in Asia. In terms of operational deployment, the YJ-20 could be launched from a variety of platforms. It is believed to be compatible with mobile launchers on land, which increases survivability against preemptive strikes. It may also be integrated onto naval vessels or potentially even aircraft in the future, though land-based systems seem the most likely for now. This flexibility in deployment ensures that the missile is not tied to a single base or location, complicating enemy targeting efforts. The question of defense against the YJ-20 is perhaps the most critical issue for adversaries at hypersonic speeds. Traditional missile defense systems struggle to track and intercept. Even if radars detect the missile early, reaction times are severely compressed. Kinetic interceptors may not maneuver fast enough to hit a missile traveling at Mach 10. Directed energy weapons, like high-powered lasers, are still in the experimental stage and not widely deployed. This means that for the foreseeable future, there is no guaranteed defense against hypersonic glide weapons like the YJ-20. The best defense may simply be deterrence and the avoidance of higher-risk zones. Economically, it's worth noting that China may use the YJ-20 as both a military tool and a political bargaining chip. The knowledge that such a missile exists can be used to influence diplomatic negotiations, regional disputes, and even trade dynamics. Weapons of this caliber are not just instruments of war, they are also instruments of power projection and national prestige. When discussing price again in the broader sense, while each missile may cost between $10 and $15 million, the real investment lies in the infrastructure, research, and support systems required to make it effective. Satellites, radar networks, communication links, and launch platforms all contribute to the overall program cost. Still, when compared to the price tag of the assets it threatens, the YJ-20 remains an extraordinarily cost-effective deterrent. Looking ahead, the YJ-20 is likely to drive innovation in both offensive and defensive technology. Rivals will invest more in hypersonic research, better radars, and perhaps entirely new defensive concepts. Carrier designs may evolve, with greater emphasis on stealth, electronic warfare, and distributed operations to reduce vulnerability. Meanwhile, China will likely continue refining the YJ-20, improving range, accuracy, and reliability over time. In conclusion, the YJ-20 hypersonic carrier killer missile represents a monumental step in missile technology and strategic balance. It combines hypersonic speed, long range, and advanced guidance to create a weapon that could change the nature of naval warfare. While some details remain uncertain, the missile's very existence forces adversaries to rethink their strategies and investments. With an estimated cost of $10 to $15 million per unit, it offers an inexpensive yet devastating capability when measured against the assets it threatens. The YJ-20 is more than just a weapon. It is a statement of China's military ambition and technological progress. For those analyzing global security, naval strategy, or the future of warfare, the YJ-20 is a system that cannot be ignored.